Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Bannon was found guilty of evading testimony in Congress. Now, the appeals process will likely go to the Supreme Court, according to Politico. So there's a Politico article titled, Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon found guilty for refusing to testify to the January panel. And if you look within the article, it talks about the appeals process. And Bannon's appeals process will likely go to the Supreme Court, or could very well go to the Supreme Court. Quote, the viability of that precedent is likely to be at the center of Bannon's appeal and could make its way to the Supreme Court. Bannon is likely to ask Nichols to allow him to remain free while he pursues his appeal, which could take a year or longer. Now, I'll read you. Nichols said, the judge said an appeals court precedent from a similar contempt of Congress case decided 61 years ago ruled out the bulk of the defense Bannon's lawyer said he wanted to present. Nichols, a Trump appointee, said on several occasions that his view of the 6-decade-old D.C. Circuit ruling was probably incorrect under present legal standards, but as a trial court judge, he was obligated to follow the precedent until and unless it was overturned. So Steve Bannon is going to challenge a 60-year ruling, contempt of Congress case, that even the judge that found him guilty believes isn't relevant or isn't legal when you take into account today's laws. So under present, the ruling was, quote, probably incorrect under present legal standards. So that is a little bit of the legal side of things. You have Brian Pagliano, who ignored a subpoena by Jason Chaffetz and Congress. He was the top Clinton IT aide, or one of the Clinton IT staffers that helped run Clinton servers. Hillary Clinton had top secret and special access program intelligence and classified data on servers running outside of the United States government. That is not legal. It is a crime to actually transfer classified data onto those servers. Okay? That is a crime. You cannot do so without breaking laws. That is worse than anything Trump is accused of having done. Now, I love the New York Post. But the New York Post editorial today, I was like, what? They said, he's unworthy of re-election or running in 2024 because, because he spent 3 hours not condemning the chaos and the mayhem, and he tweeted out, bad things towards Pence, and, it's like, well, yeah, should he have condemned what was taking place sooner rather than later? Sure. Is it possible that Trump, is it possible that there's more to the discussion regarding an interaction between Ted Cruz and a former government official? So I'll leave it at that. Or a government spokesperson. So Ted Cruz questioned under oath in a congressional hearing a spokesperson for the Bureau. He asked how many agents were there. The response was, we cannot give you an answer because of sources and methods, and we can't give you an answer, basically. Okay. That is more suspicious than anything leveled at Trump regarding him throwing his dinner at the wall or trying to commandeer a limousine. You cannot, and this is why half the electorate will always vote for Donald Trump. Thank God, because if you want a great economy, if you want record highs in household median income, and that happened under Trump, if you want real wages up under Trump, a GDP that's growing under Trump, as opposed to real wages down 4.4% under mashed potato brains, a recession, contracting economy under Biden, inflation at 9.1%, inflation was at 2% under Trump. Yeah, you're gonna vote almost half the electorate will always vote for Donald Trump if they want a great economy. And if they want a great foreign policy. The Doha Agreement reversed U.S. foreign policy. The Lincoln Project, the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, and then Clinton, Kerry, and Biden foreign policy. And Biden completely botched that. But a big reason why over half the electorate will always vote for Trump is because of the double standard. My God Almighty. You have Eric Holder held in criminal contempt of Congress. Okay? Eric Holder, Brian Pagliano, who just ignored a subpoena, and then his attorney said, oh yeah, he's just going to plead the fifth, so why go? It's like, what? You can't just not go. Jason Chaffetz in Congress years back was saying it's not optional. It's not optional. Now Democrats are saying it's not optional. A subpoena is not optional. The rule of law has been upheld. Whenever it's them being forced to testify, it's never the rule of law. It's partisan. And oh my God, you just want to go ahead and make it political. But then when they go after Bannon, it's the rule of law. Anyway, they don't have an actual crime, and they've ignored subpoenas also. But with Clinton, you actually had a crime. It is a crime to own servers outside of the United States government. It was never about email. That's why, like Democrats, media, they hide within this linguistic and semantic alternate universe. But her emails, and by the way, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. Believe me. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. The unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. I'm the biggest Hillary Clinton 2024 Democratic nominee booster fan on the entire internet. Nobody wants Clinton to be nominee more than me on this planet, and I'll tell you why. In addition, I want every left-leaning, far-left, liberal YouTuber and pundit to tell their viewers to vote for Clinton again. I just want that for a number of reasons. Okay? And I obviously think that she would lose to Trump again. I stated, I was one of the few people in 2016 to state that she would lose to Trump. Just like I predicted the stock market crash that we're seeing this year. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel and the Bitcoin Crash channel. I have segments this evening on both of those channels. But if you want to support my work, my Patreon is below, ladies and gentlemen. But ladies and gentlemen, and to my new Patreons, thank you. But it is a crime. It is a crime to have top secret intelligence on private servers. If anybody at the Atlantic or the Washington Post or, any of these Brookings, can you please explain how top secret and special access program intelligence and classified data was transferred to private servers outside of the United States government, running with a dedicated staff, one of the people being Brian Pagliano, who ignored a subpoena by Jason Chaffetz, and now Steve Bannon being convicted as the rule of law. Rule of law, this democracy. It's so nauseating hearing these people talk about the rule of law as they break laws left and right. Then you have Hunter. We don't have to get into Hunter. My God. Could you imagine if Saturday Night Live, could you imagine what SNL and what Seth Meyers or Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert would be doing right now if it was Donald Trump Jr. in those photos with all these criminal acts, and now he's pleading guilty. They're probably going to get him to plead guilty after midterms because they don't want it to ruin midterms. And they don't want to convict him, but he'll plead guilty. So it's kind of like, oh, well, it's done. We don't have to talk about it anymore. It's like, no. There'll be endless investigations there. But you have people who, like, when people say, well, why do people vote for Trump? You have half the electorate who understand that we all understand. I voted for Trump. I want a great economy and a great foreign policy, unlike what we have now with mashed potato brains. And somebody who actually, fights politically. See, January was horrible. That was a terrible day. He should never have had those demonstrations. But there was a female unarmed supporter of Trump who had her life taken. Where's Kinzinger and Cheney? Where is Kinzinger and Cheney talking about that? Where are the Democrats talking about that? Nobody cares. $1 billion to $2 billion in property damage that summer? 19 lives lost, 14,000 arrests, and they say, well, it's a reckoning. And it's like, well, it's not your property, journalist, that's calling it a reckoning. It's not your life, God forbid. And it's like, you don't condemn Kinzinger and Cheney they don't condemn that? And they don't condemn an entire summer where businesses are boarded up with signs saying, we believe your cause, we support your cause, please don't torch our business. Are you kidding me? And I support the cause. Like, I support 2 summers ago why people were demonstrating. But I don't support the $1 to $2 billion in property damage and 19 lives lost and 14,000 arrests. Where's the condemnation there? How do you differentiate? I've actually spoken to people that, oh, that's different. Really? Why is that different? Well, it was a different cause. Different. Yeah, I understand that. And do you think that the people who've had their lives upended and their businesses destroyed can differentiate between one cause and another political issue? So you have half the electorate that will just believe public relations spin, and half the electorate it has nothing to do with Trump's personality. Believe me, the left and Democrats are focused more on Trump's personality than anyone voting for him. Trump had a great economy. Fact. End of story. And he wouldn't have 9.1% inflation with Trump, that's for sure. Because he wouldn't have been sued by oil and gas associations like Biden was. Biden is also being sued by environmental groups. So you ask yourself, why are those two sides suing this man? Okay, the answer is he has no actual policies. It's just pandering. Give me your thoughts below. Be here in a couple of hours. Thank you so very much. Also, subscribe to the Stock Market Crash and the Bitcoin Crash channel below in the description and pinned comment. Thank you so much. By the way, I should have a live stream either tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow I should have a live stream earlier in the day than usual.